What's up, my beautiful people? Oops.
What's up, my beautiful people? It's your boy, Jackson, and we're back with another sports talk with yours truly, Jackson. Happy Tuesday. Hopefully, as we always say, you guys are having an amazing week, an amazing start to your week. We're almost at the end of October, and 2 more months, and we'll be at a brand new year. But how's everyone doing today? Hopefully, whatever you guys got going on, you guys are able to, get through it, um, get past it. I know you guys are working hard as always. So let's start the show. And obviously, big elephant in the room, right? Big topic, especially for us Niners fans. What a tough weekend. But as always, we're here. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about everything going on in the NFL. We'll get some soccer in here, and we'll finish up with UFC 308 and whatever you guys have in mind. So let's jump into it, I guess. So this past Sunday, Kansas City Chiefs, they defeat the 49ers again. Um, Kyle Shanahan is now 0-5 against Patrick Mahomes. And yeah, it was not pretty. It's not a good game overall. Brock Purdy didn't have his best of games, threw 3 picks. Um, Even Mahomes, he threw 2 picks, but as we talk, and then we'll jump in. Let's start right there. We talked about it last week, comparing Mahomes to Purdy. We saw the stats. Mahomes, he had they had stat wise, right? On paper, Purdy was having on paper better season than Mahomes, better stats. I think he was throwing for more yards, he had more touchdowns, less interceptions. But as we said last week, it's all about the eye test. And yes, Mahomes threw 2 picks, but Mahomes, basically carried his team to a victory this Sunday. He made clutch plays. He had a run. He didn't throw for a touchdown, but Mahomes is Mahomes. He is the greatest quarterback of our generation. And again, he was able to defeat us. As for Purdy, 3 picks, but not just the 3 picks, right? He had an off game. He had a bad game, and this doesn't mean that he's a horrible quarterback, that he's bad. He is, I think, good, great. But as always, these are the games I want to see him, take over. He had two passes, one to Kittle, one to Cowing, that if he had a little bit more arm strength, they would have been touchdowns. He what we've always talked about Purdy is, he doesn't have the strongest of arms. We saw last night, we'll get into it, with Lamar. He had a pass to Bateman. He led him, touchdown. Kittle, he had to slow down to catch his pass, same with Cowing. So those are the little things, right? But we're nitpicking at this point. But, obviously, let's just start. The Niners, the excuses, right? Injuries, what else? The refs, they missed a holding call, all that, whatever. But the Chiefs, I mean, they were missing key players as well. Juju, fortunately he got injured, hamstring, so they lost him. They already lost Pacheco. They've lost Rashid Rice, and yet still, they're 6-0. Because why? Because they have a elite quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. Um, you know, and the thing that's crazy too is that the Chiefs aren't even playing that good, if we're really honest, and they're 6-0 still. But then you come over here to the Niners, right? You start off the season, no McCaffrey, but Mason's the second leading rusher in the NFL. Uh, Ayuk, obviously, let's talk about it. Ayuk's out for the season, ACL and MCL. So and then he hasn't been 100% right. But we still have Debo, the emergence of Juwan Jennings. We have Kittle, who's having an amazing season as well. But I don't know, for some reason we don't use him more often. We have the most expensive fullback in the game, Juszczyk, who gets paid what $7 million a year to block, to go in motion for one or two plays a game. We have the best left tackle in the game, right? Trent Williams. We have up and coming star with Pooney as our right guard. Left guard's pretty solid, Aaron Banks. So that's three out of the five offensive linemen. And the offensive line, they've held up. They haven't been horrible. Yes, McGiveth will still have his blunders throughout the game, but what I'm trying to get at is time and time again, we see what a great coach does with their players, put them in positions to win the game. Andy Reid had Noah Gray out there looking like Travis Kelsey. I forgot Travis Kelsey's on the Chiefs, but he looked kind of washed, but he's continuously keeps scheming up plays. Miko Harmon, he had a great game last game too. Also with Kareem Hunt off the street, 2 touchdowns. But I think that's what great coaching does. That's what a coach that learns from his mistakes, that is accountable, that plays, that makes his scheme work for the players that he has. And I feel like Kyle Shanahan is all about his scheme. What does this mean? I feel like Kyle is the scheme, and if you don't fit the scheme, then he won't work with you or around you or to make you better. And I think that's what his downfall has been. He's so, I don't know, like tunnel vision into his scheme, tunnel vision into making it seem that because of his scheme, the players, for example, his quarterbacks, play better than they really are. And for a long time we believed it, right? Because we had Jimmy Garoppolo, and we see what he's become outside of Kyle's system. Ass. I mean, he's always ass. But he has deficiencies, and I feel like Brock Purdy, he's actually pretty good. He's pretty solid. He can make plays, off script. But I think that's what Kyle doesn't like. And that makes Purdy, kind of make some mistakes because, your coach is in your ear telling you this is where you have to go with the ball. But sometimes, things happen in the NFL. Players slip. Maybe they have a good coverage and you got to think outside the box. And I feel like when Purdy does that, he's pretty great. So, maybe the pressure has gotten to Purdy, right? We've talked about it. After this season, he's eligible to get paid, and it's going to be life-changing money, going from earning what $900K a year to potentially earning $60 million a year. That's a big pressure on. And I've noticed that this week the talk has been, it was on Purdy. Reports came out that after the game, Kyle Shanahan, in front of the media, so everyone could see, kind of, chewed out Brock Purdy, kind of like, I guess, telling him his mistakes in front of everyone, right? I don't know. That makes me, think that, you know, our coach isn't accountable. You could do that. I'm not saying don't do that. Do that, but why don't you do it like when there's no cameras? Why don't you do it like the next day when you're one on one? Like, hey, this is where you did wrong. This is what I want you to do better. Da, 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 da. But why in front of the cameras? Why in front of the media? Because then the media does what they do. They report about it. They say, "Oh, Kyle Shanahan chewed out Brock Purdy. It was Brock Purdy's fault this game. He had these 3 interceptions. Blah blah blah." But I feel like Kyle, what has he learned in these past matchups with the Chiefs, especially in the Super Bowl? Right? They did the same thing to us this game. They played man-to-man coverage. They blitzed the hell out of us, and he wasn't able to adjust. He hasn't been able to adjust. I feel like Kyle, he's very. I feel like he just does not. He's not evolving. He's not being creative like he used to be. Maybe the loss of Mike McDaniel. Maybe he was the creative coach on that offense, but I mean, if they're blitzing us, if they're playing man to man, Why doesn't he make, why doesn't he scheme his players open? I feel like he has better players than the Chiefs had. I feel like if Andy Reid was our coach, he would make it work. And I mean, I'm not gonna say if Mahomes was on our team, you guys know how that would look. But I feel like he's not learning, he's not evolving, he's not being accountable, and now he has found his new scapegoat, Brock Purdy. Last year it was Steve Wilkes. The year prior was always Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think it's time, we call him out. And I feel like people around the media, around that don't cover the Niners, they're starting to see that. They're starting to call him out. And I feel like the fans, they like Brock Purdy, and I feel like the fans, they had to choose, they would choose Brock Purdy because I feel like, and I know the fear, right? The fear of all Niners fans is what happened when we lost Harbaugh, Tom Sula, Chip Kelly. But like, do you really think that one of these for example, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, Ben Johnson, you don't think he would be more than excited to come, with the weapons that we have with Brock Purdy? Look what he's doing with Jared Goff. Jared Goff, the Lions are the best team in the NFC. You wouldn't think these coaches would be interested to work here? Say what you want about Jetty York, but he's given Kyle, it's been what, 8 years? 8 years, and, no, there hasn't been no pressure. And then, yes, I understand, right? We've made 4 NFC championships, 2 Super Bowls. I see a lot of people always say, man, you guys have it good. You guys are always in the mix, winning, making it far. But it's like, I think ya llegamos al tope with Kyle. Like, he's not going to be the one to win us the big one. He's had two chances with us, 10-point lead, the better team. Last year, I mean, the Chiefs weren't the Chiefs of before, and especially this past Sunday, they definitely weren't like this super ultimate all-star team. And yet he couldn't find a way to beat them again. And let's say we do go on a run. Let's say we beat because I mean, let's be real. If we beat the Cowboys, like I've been saying, like it won't mean anything to me. The Cowboys are just as bad. We beat them. We're gonna pump our chest. The fans are gonna be like, "We're back." The media's gonna be all, "See, it was just a fluke. The Niners are back. We got to buy." Then we play the Bucks. Now the Bucks did lose Godwin and Mike Evans, maybe, but the Bucks, they're solid. They could beat us. I could see where they could beat us. And our schedule gets hard. We were gonna play brutal back to back Green Bay and the Bills. We still got to play the Lions. That one's gonna be a tough game. We don't know what the Bears are yet, but by that time, Caleb Williams might be improved. That defense is pretty good. We got to play the Rams again, Seattle, Cardinals. We play them at the end, so we'll see. But this is looking like a team that might be either 8-9, 9-8. And if we do make it to the playoffs, I don't know how they're playing, especially all the players we've lost to injury. We might get first round there. But let's say they do make a run. Let's say they how they've done it in the past, right? Where they make a run, make it to the NFC Championship. But time and time again, we've always seen Kyle, come short. And I don't know. I mean, I don't think they'll fire him. I mean, I don't think they'll fire him if let's say the Niners just have a horrible season. I think they'll write the injury excuse. We weren't 100%, and they'll give him another year. But why waste another year with Kyle? We have a pretty solid team. Yes, we've invested a lot in our players, and might be time to these older players, start selling, get some draft picks, have a hard reset, and build this team around Brock Purdy. But I doubt they'll do that. Word on the street, y'all going for Cortland Sutton. I heard that, but for what? We think about it, right? Why would we? Let's say we lose against the Cowboys. Now we would be 3-5. Why would we give up draft picks when we drafted Ricky Pearsall in the first round? He's supposed to, he's a first round pick. All the other teams' first round picks usually, they do something, And I know he's a rookie and obviously very powerful, getting shot and coming back is all great. But we have him, we have Cowing. Let's give these young guys a chance. We have Debo still, we have Juwan Jennings. I don't think there's a need for trading for a player. So I don't know. I mean, I don't, and especially receiver. Right? I know Ayuk. He was supposed to be our number one, but we have enough weapons. We have weapons. If we were to trade for someone, I would think maybe somewhere in the D line. We need to stop the run. We need to get pressure. Where's Bosa? Like throughout the NFL, right? Before Hutchinson got injured, every week I would see him. He was always, a problem for teams, right? Hutchinson. Same with TJ Watt. Yours truly, Max Crosby. They're always making plays. They're always there, impacting, being a problem. Bosa, man, I don't know what's going on. He hasn't been playing like the defensive player of the year like he was. And to be honest, I mean, for a long time, I thought he was the best, but I gotta put TJ Watt up there. Hutchinson before he was injured, Max Crosby, Miles Garrett. These players, I feel like after always being in the mix, going to Super Bowls, constantly losing, not winning the big one, I think is just taking a toll on this team. They're just looking out for themselves, maybe. And maybe what Kyle Shanahan is selling, they're not buying anymore. It gets old after a while. This guy promising like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're the best team in the NFL, da 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 da, and you constantly lose, you constantly can't beat this team. It gets to the point where you're like, man, I mean, are we good enough? Will we ever do it? Are we ever going to do it with this coach? I don't know. I mean, can they turn it around? Like I said, beating the Cowboys by a lot, it's not going to prove anything to me. I mean, I'll joke about it, boast about it, but at the end of the day, this one was, like I said, even it doesn't matter, right? They're an AFC team. Winning an NFC game, winning against an NFC team counts more for playoff implications, but it was more mental. Like beating the Chiefs, the team that's beaten us twice in the Super Bowl. We've never beaten Mahomes. Getting that monkey off your shoulder, and that builds momentum. I think that meant more for this team, and losing again, embarrassing. Being in the game, not having answers. I think they're like, man, I don't think we're ever going to beat this team, man. It's funny, right? Kelsey at the end of the game tells Kittle, hopefully we'll see you in February. Like, bro, stop the cap. But yeah, I mean, what about fans for other teams? Would you guys take Kyle Shanahan as your coach? There's been a comparison with Andy Reid. Andy Reid was with the Eagles for a long time. He could never win the big one. He went to the Chiefs, and now he's one of the best coaches, next to Belichick, right? But I felt like he was able to be accountable. And maybe with age, Kyle will, but I just don't see it. Really embracing what you have, right? I feel like, let's say we would have drafted Mahomes. You think Kyle Shanahan would have let him do what Mahomes is great at, improvising? I don't know. Maybe Kyle would have been like, I'd rather play Brian Hoyer. I mean, that's what he chose. He chose Brian Hoyer, having Brian Hoyer over taking a look at Patrick Mahomes, and he missed out on the greatest quarterback of all time. But his ego, his sense of my system is what's important. I'm the reason why we're winning. Kyle Shanahan is the reason, not my quarterback. When have you ever heard him say, I have one of the greatest quarterbacks on my team, and if it wasn't for him, we would have won this game? Or, man, this game was on me. I didn't prepare my team the best. I'm a look at the tape and improve. It's always this past game. He called out Brock Purdy. He said Brock Purdy missed some throws. What do you think that does to a player? Getting trucked by man, exactly. Cowboys week. Let's go. For you, Bonnie, Hey, at least the player that got trucked by Mahomes, who I think he's one of our. I mean, our rookie class this season, they're pretty good. I mean, Malik Mustafa, our safety, the one that got trucked. He took it. He took the banter. He said, "Yeah, I'm getting cooked." But other than that, I think he's been playing great. Pooney, Renardo Green, our cornerback. We'll see what Pearsall does. Cowing had some moments. His rookie class is looking like a good one. But man, yeah, I mean, Mahomes is Mahomes. Question from the people: now that the Niners are dead, which team are we allowed to root for? Personally, the Ravens. I'm still gonna root for the Niners no matter what. That's my team. I'll root for players on my fantasy team. The 0-7 acolytes. We still there, but to root for another team, I just don't got that rat in me, like some people out there who will, with no hesitation, no disgrace for their own team, they'll root for another team because that's what they're make. That's what they're you know what type of people they are. Constantly just going to teams that give them that glory and aren't there when the good and the bad. And I'm gonna be there with my team in the bad, no matter what. But I will criticize them because I want them to improve because they mean a lot to me. They're my team. And it just pisses me off when there is no accountability. When these players constantly tell me we're the best team in the NFL, we've been the best team. We've just been unlucky that we haven't won. No, you just haven't been fully concentrated in these games. You haven't taken a look at yourself like, all right, this is what I got to do to change. And that's what pisses me off. But I think my prediction right now would be Lions Ravens. I would think that would be a cool Super Bowl. Different teams, especially the Lions. I'm really liking this Lions team. I will say, how they play. They play, strong. I love that they run the ball. They have Jameer Gibbs, Montgomery. They did lose Jameson Williams, and I did lose him on my fantasy team too. But thank you for the question. All right, let's get back. Rest of the NFL. Um, the rest of the NFL. So let's start with Seattle. They're able to beat the Falcons. They have a much they needed to get that victory after last week's debacle, but they get a big win against the Falcons, who were pretty hot. Kirk Banks was having a good season, and they're able to beat them decisively, and now they're top of the NFC West. Will that last? We'll see. But the battle's going to be constant in this division. Cardinals won last night too against the Chargers. Close game as well. The Cardinals win by a field goal. This division, the NFC West, they're all kind of mid teams, but they're still there. It's going to be a mix. They keep winning, they keep losing. But I would say the best division right now is NFC North. You have the Lions, who defeated the Vikings, put 31 on the Vikings on one of the best defenses in the NFL. Like I said, Jameer Gibbs, 2 touchdowns. They do lose Jameson Williams because I don't know what he's taking, PEDs, whatever that is. But Amon-Ra Brown steps up. This team's solid, good defense, and the Vikings, they get their first loss of the season. As my boy Daniel says, Vikings lost finally. It was bound to happen. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Sam Darnold. But they beat the Niners. But does that victory mean a lot now after what we've seen the Niners play? But like I said, the Lions are there. Obviously, the Vikings are 5-1. Green Bay's 5-2. And Green Bay, I think they had an impressive win against the Houston Texans, who, they were on my power rankings for a couple weeks now. You guys know what I think about CJ Stroud, one of the next up and coming great quarterbacks. They have a solid defense. They got weapons. They got Diggs, Dell, Mixon. They did lose Nico Collins. That's an impressive win. That's a good win for Green Bay. Finally beating a team that's above 500. So that's another team. And the Bears, they had a bye week, but we'll see what the Bears are. Yes, they've beaten teams that aren't that good, but they are 4-2, I believe. all that division's positive. They still have to play each other. But I think right now that's the best division in the NFL. Last night, though, Lamar. Oof. Now that's an MVP right there. That's a quarterback. I remember at the beginning of the season, they were saying, when the Ravens were 0-2, and there were some people, here in the local Bay Area radio were saying that they would still take Brock Purdy over Lamar. We got to check your head for CTE, man, because Lamar, he's sensational, exceptional. Yes, we need to see him do it in the playoffs. We need to see him win the big one, but you can't deny the greatness of Lamar. And now with Derrick Henry, deadly combination, deadly duo. It's like you got to pick your poison. You stop the run or you stop Lamar Jackson. He had 5 touchdowns. I think he only had 5 incompletions. Good win against the Bucks. I think it might be the year for the Ravens. I think so. Like I said, Mahomes is 6-0, but they don't look as strong as years before. The Bills, now with the addition of Amari Cooper, who right away, he had a big impact in the game, a touchdown. That might be, who they face. And I know, Chidi, if you're here, you always ride for your Steelers. They look great too with Russell Wilson. He had a good game, a rushing touchdown, I think a couple touchdowns as well. That defense is good. And, the Jets, fraud. Aaron Rodgers is a fraud. I mean, they basically gave him, he's just being childish. He says, I want my friend Devontae Adams on the team. Devontae Adams went from being 2-5 with the Raiders to being 2-5 with the Jets. Happy for them. But Lamar, he might be back-to-back MVP. I don't know what you guys think, but like I said, that Ravens team looking good. Mark Andrews, he's back. Overall, that team looks like the team, them and the Lions. I feel like that's going to be the Super Bowl. We'll see, though. Things could change, injuries. Niners? Nah, I'm playing. Am I? We'll see. We get to my power rankings. So, number 1, obviously, the Chiefs. They're 6-0. And I wrote here, they can't keep getting away with it. It sucks. Doesn't it suck? Yeah, they're back-to-back champs. They have the best quarterback ever, but they're not playing great football. I mean, they did beat us, but we're ass. But I'm in general, right? Compared to how the Chiefs always look, dominant. Kelsey, Mahomes. Mahomes had 2 picks. He only threw for 192. They don't have the best of weapons. Like I said, Kareem Hunt off the street, he got 2 touchdowns. But I got to put them number 1 still. 6-0. What can we say? No, I think it's great. Let's be honest, though. I mean, imagine when this team actually gets it together. Mahomes starts playing lights out. Worthy, improves. Kelsey, is somewhat better. This is unfair. It's gonna be unfair. They're 6-0 playing like ass. But that's what great coaching does. And that's what having one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time does. So I'll give them their flowers. Number 2 got to be the Lions. Like I said, the best team in the NFC. It's the coaching. They just have good coaching. Yeah, exactly. And the best quarterback of all time. One of this generation. Brady, I still think he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. And that's the thing, too, with the Chiefs, right? Obviously, you kind of hate them because they're always winning and they've beat my team in 2 Super Bowls. But if I take my Niner hat off and I'm just, in the middle balance, the Chiefs, you got to give them their flowers. They're, as the Patriots were, you had to give them their flowers as much as you hated Brady and Bill Belichick. But you got to admit, these teams are one of the greatest of all times. And one day when we're older, I will say, when I'm older, I'll say, hey, I saw Mahomes kick my team's ass live twice and in 2 Super Bowls. Hopefully we can get an all-time great. Lions number 2, as I said, best team in the NFC. And I'm going to go with the Vikings, 5-1. But they might be dropping soon if they continue losing. Like I said, I just don't believe in Sam Darnold. But around them, they got Justin Jefferson. Aaron Jones is playing great. Like I said, their defense is good. But I was thinking of putting the Ravens as 3, but Ravens are my number 4 team. They might be climbing up. They got, right now, I was saying Josh Allen, but he's been a little down. Lamar Jackson, MVP of the league right now. It's crazy what him and Derrick Henry are doing, man. Derrick Henry too. He had like what, like two. He took two for like 89, 90 yards. Crazy. How are you going to stop this team? Like if you're in the red zone, they're either going to run it with Derrick Henry, who's like 6'3", 250, like my president. He's 6'3", 250. Mr. Trump. We're getting close. Hopefully we get a victory soon. Make America great again. And then Bills, I'll put him as 5 with Amari Cooper. Finally, Josh Allen has a weapon. James Cook, Kincaid, and then these rookie receivers, if they step up, I think that's a good solid 5 right now. Who else am I missing? Green Bay, they had a good victory. Maybe if they continue winning. The Steelers, I want to see more weeks of Russell Wilson. He had a great week. Mike Tomlin made a great decision. A lot of people were, questioning it because, Justin Fields had this team 4-2. But then finally that passing game, got on fire with Russell Wilson. So we'll see. But I think these are the top 5 teams right now. What do you guys think? Let me know. Did I miss a team? I know the Commanders, they had a great victory, but it was against the Panthers. Jaden Daniels, he got injured. Mariota stepped in. That's another team too. Now we go from football, sorry. Did I write it here? Did I not write it here? Oh, yeah. From football to football. What happened this weekend? Let's start with my team, Liverpool-Chelsea. Chelsea, unfortunately, lose 2-1 to Liverpool. Liverpool top of the table in the Premier League. But I left the game, watching the game. Obviously, no moral victories, right? But I think my Chelsea, they're playing great. They're playing great football. There's structure there. I see it. Yes, I did have here, I'm going to have to call him out. As much praise as I give him, but this past game, we had a ghost Palmer. He didn't play to his standards, but overall, we dominated. We had possession, but just Liverpool. I mean, they're experienced. They have experienced players. Salah, still deadly as always. They did get a PK. I will say that, but overall, their counters, they capitalize on the opportunities that they have, and I feel like my team, they're young. They're not capitalizing on what they have. And no, they lost. It's tough to play in Anfield against Liverpool with Van Dijk, Konate. What's his name? The guy that scored the second goal, the youngster, he played great. Luis Diaz, like I said, Salah. They're a great team right now. But it gives me hope that we can compete, and we can finish top 4, and we're only going to get better. Nicholas Jackson, he did score. I'll give him that. Great goal. Pero nos falta el colmillo, nos falta capitalizing on opportunities that we have. Like I said, my boy Cole Palmer, these are the games you got to show up. You got to put the team on your back. You can't be ghost Palmer. But I'll give both teams, they're coming back from international break, long travel, to both teams, not just Chelsea. But I think experience came through, and that's why Liverpool got the dub. We'll see where we end up, but I was impressed. I'm really liking the way Chelsea is playing. Lukewarm. Ghost Palmer. I like that name better. Arsenal, though, they lose surprisingly to Bournemouth, and another stupid red card. And now, I think they're 7 points behind first place. Yeah, you can't lose those games, especially against a Bournemouth. But typical Arsenal fashion, they just do Arsenal things. I wrote, Man U, they got their first dub. Good job, Man U. Happy for you guys, but that's all I'm going to say about them. But I think, for the Premier League, it's looking like between Liverpool, Man City, I would say. Like I said, I'll be happy if Chelsea, we make it top 4, get into Champions League. We have a great team. And Arsenal, like I said, dumb mistakes. You can't drop points. It's gonna be tight race. Now in Spain, Barcelona 5-1. Looking like a juggernaut. Looking like a juggernaut. Where's Alberto? Where's Alberto? I know Real Madrid had a scare today. They were losing 2-0, but they came back. Vinny with a hat trick. And I will say, let me ask the questions to you guys. For Ballon d'Oro this year, who's it going to be? I think it should be Vinny, right? Champions League, they won it. He had a great season last season. He has a lot of drama to him, but overall, I think, it would be him, right? People are saying Rodri. I don't know about Mbappe. I think it's Vinny. Vinny, he carried that Real Madrid to that Champions League this past season. But, they did win. They're, I think, 3 points behind Barcelona. But like I said, I'm excited for whenever the Clásico is because I feel like at first, when the season started, right, how Real Madrid has dominated this past couple of years, adding Mbappe. I did say it would take some time to get the chemistry, but I think Barcelona is good too. And I think it's going to be a good matchup. And like I said, we were talking earlier, right? The Niners beating Chiefs to get that, that feeling like we could beat this team. I feel like for Barcelona, even though they've had some victories over Real Madrid, but Real Madrid has been the dominant team. I think they need to like have a decisive win against Madrid and be like, you know what? We can win. We can win the league. We can make noise in Champions League. We're here to stay. And I feel like with the coach they have, Hansi Flick, the players they have, Rafinha, like I said, he been playing like a different player. He looking like Ronaldinho out there. You know what I feel about Lamar. The next big thing, Alberto's favorite player. It can happen. It's gonna be interesting. I'm excited. I can't wait for the Clásico. But we can't deny, what Madrid has. They have Mbappe, Vinny. That team all around is good. So when is the Clásico? I'm excited. We'll have full coverage. Now we have reached to this weekend, UFC 308, which I think has the most exciting, one of the most excited fights I'm excited for. Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway. Topuria coming off an impressive knockout against Volkanovski, right? Young champ, undefeated. Man, his boxing is one of the crisps in the NFL. Like he legit has crispy ass boxing. But not only that, he's good all around. He's a good wrestler. And he's going up against Max Holloway, who had one of the greatest knockouts ever. Highlight reel moment. Max has never been finished. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm a big Max Holloway fan, but I also like Topuria. Logically, I'm thinking Topuria is going to win, and I just don't want to see Max get knocked out. But when you doubt Max, he's able to pull through and give you something magical. So I'm excited. I cannot wait for this matchup. And I'm going to have to go with Max Holloway. That's what I'm going with, Max Holloway winning. I just don't know how. I don't know. Will it be a knockout? Will it be an incredible fight decision? But I'm going Max Holloway. We'll see. The other one that's going to be pretty cool is Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. Chimaev, he's had some time off fighting. I think he last fought Usman, right? Which was pretty close. Usman in 10-day notice going up weight class 2. But we wanted to see, what Khamzat really about. Finally going up against, one of the, he's been on the roll, Whittaker. He did lose to Durkis, but he had impressive wins. This one's going to be good too. And I feel like Khamzat, I think he's going to be Robert Whittaker and, is going to set him up for that title fight. So that one's going to be interesting too. A lot of cool fights. Leron Murphy versus Danny 50K Eag. Danny Eag, right? When he fought Diego Lopez, he took it on hours' notice, and he went all the way to decision. He's going up against Leron Murphy, who is undefeated. Could be another good one. I'm gonna have to go with. We'll go with Murphy on this one. I don't know, but I feel like it's gonna be a good fight. Iga's gonna be in there. We'll see. Next one: Ankalev versus Rakic. Ankalev talking a lot of crap about my boy um, Pereira, saying that he's gonna beat him. He's gonna stand with him. He's not gonna take him down. All right, let's see what you got. Rakic, he looked pretty good against Yidi, but Yidi ended up knocking him out. Hopefully, this is a banger. Stang and bang. No crotch sniffing, please. I have a feeling Rakic is going to take it. Because, like I said, I think Ankalev's too focused on this Pereira fight that he's looking past Rakic. And Rakic is pretty good. So that one should be a banger. And the last one for the main event is, I'm going to butcher these names, is the guy that has the one eye, the ginger Russian dude, the Sharabutin versus Petrosian. I'm gonna go with Sharabutin. He's undefeated, I believe, still undefeated. The last fight he had, it was pretty close, but I'm gonna go with him on this one. Are you guys excited for the UFC throwaway? I'm excited. It's also an early card, 11 a.m. here Pacific time because it's in Abu Dhabi. Like I said, I'm excited for the main event. Tuporia, Max Holloway. Dude, Dana, I'm promoting this for you, man. If you know now, you know. Watch it. If you guys don't like the UFC, this is a good one to watch. Watch it. It's always a great time. Max Holloway, Tuporia. I cannot wait. As I wrap up the show, I guess I will mention I will be going to watch a movie today. And I have mentioned before, I do not like scary movies. I do not like gory movies. And supposedly this is one of the goriest movies ever made. Terrifier 3. So 740, yes. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. I cannot wait. I'm going to enjoy it. It's going to be a great time with great friends, laughing, because it's about a clown that makes jokes and, it should be great, right? I should not be expecting the worst. I should not expecting like people be cutting in half, right? Or people getting their face smashed or something, right? Or eyes popping out. None of that, right? So I'm excited for that. I cannot wait. Yeah. I'm not nervous at all. I'm not nervous, not scared. No, I don't get scared. Shitting bricks. But anyways, that's what I will be doing. But if you guys don't have any more questions, I mean, let's just wrap it up with the Niners are ass. Oh man, that game. I was so pissed, especially when Brock Purdy threw that pick in the red zone. Because we were still in the game. It was 14-12. No, he threw a pick. We were 14-12. And in the red zone, we were still like 21-12. You look pale. I'm not nervous. Yeah, let it go. Yeah, let it go. Okay. Gio's words of wisdom. This week, easy. Time. Time is precious. Time is something we cannot get back. So make sure to always, whatever you put your time into is something, that's worth it. That's going to bring you, something out of it. And don't be wasting your time on the wrong people because that's time you cannot get. So thank you guys again for tuning into the show. I will be back next Tuesday. Hopefully, the Niners beat the Cowboys. I'll see you. Bye-bye. Wish me luck. It's going to be fun. Terrifier 3, here I come. Will that rhyme? Could that be a crime? Bye-bye.